Hello, my name is Kate Salerno, and I am a communications student at USC. Today, I'm going to be discussing Ian Hacking's topic of making up people. More specifically, I'm going to be discussing the topic of Samantha and Tejan and their rare mutation 16p11.2. I will also talk about Ian Hacking, dynamic nominalism, which is also known as the looping effect, and genomic designation. According to Ian Hacking, the ways in which we classify people directly influences the classification of those people. More specifically, these classifications can determine or influence the interactions between varied categories and who we are as humans. Referring to dynamic nominalism, some people fit into a certain classification and begin to adopt those roles within that category. Others behave in certain ways and then are thus categorized by others to fit into a specific classification. Hacking states that people spontaneously come to fit their categories. There are two different categories of dynamic nominalism, the realists and the nominalist view. The realists believe that people are pre-categorized, while the nominalists believe that once they are named, they come into existence in that category. Hacking is a forward thinker and feels that new categories of people will be a continuous concept. He gives the example that during his grandfather's lifetime, there were limited categories that people were classified in. Those categories grew during Hacking's lifetime, and he believes that this will be a continuous trend, and by the time that his grandchildren are adults, there will be many more accepted classifications of people. While Ian Hacking's classification of people is much broader, genomic designation and the discovery of genetic mutations and markers are much more specific classification. For example, the DNA diagnosis of 16p11.2, which Samantha and Tejan are born with, is so rare that they are only 2 of 6 children in the world who have been diagnosed. 16p11.2 is a rare genetic mutation which affects traits causing a flat bridge of the nose, thin lips, folds near the corner of the eyes, learning difficulties, and digestive problems. In other words, they share an identical flaw in the short arm of their 16th chromosome. And now, to tie it all together, as you heard today, dynamic nominalism and the entire social dynamic that produces new kinds of people goes considerably beyond the act of categorizing a condition like 16p11.2. For example, I categorize myself as a sister, and because of that, I hold myself in a certain light to set a good example for my younger sister. So, as you now know, Ian Hacking's theory of making up people and how he believes that science can create different categories of people is really just the act of naming and understanding, and therefore gives us the flexibility to invent and reinvent ourselves.